In this video, we're going to hook up our functionality so that we have a game where we're printing our guess to the screen and we can click higher and we can click lower and the guess updates accordingly. We need to make a connection between the text we're displaying on our screen here. At the moment, it's all question marks, but instead of all question marks, we want to display whatever the current guess is and the guess variable itself that we are recalculating the value of within our script. So if the player press higher, then we have a new value of guess with that new value of guess to be displayed just here. So how do we do that? How do we tell our code in here, how do we tell our script that you should be making this, whatever the value you currently understand for guess, you should be putting it just here? Well, the first thing we need to do is to serialize a field, serialize a variable that allows us to connect the two together. So let's give ourselves a little bit of space at the top of the script here. We're going to type in serialize field, and then we need to create a variable that's going to be of type. Now, what type is it? It's type whatever this is just here. It's a Text Mesh Pro UGUI script. If we were just using regular text, then it would just be a text field. But because this is our Text Mesh Pro, it's a little bit different. To access this, we first need to use the namespace using text. So TM Pro, so that stands for Text Mesh Pro. If we were using just a regular text field in there, then we would be using the Unity Engine.UI namespace. But we're using Text Mesh Pro, so we need to get access to all the classes and methods contained within this namespace. We need to be using that namespace. So now when we go to serialize field, we have the option of a type which is Text Mesh Pro UGUI. And we will call this guess text. Okay, so whether it was text in here or game object or whatever it is, the type that we are trying to look for, this now says only accept this particular type. We'll call it guess text. And what is it that we wish to link to guess text? Well, let's jump back over into Unity, click on where our script is. Oh, save first, sorry, my bad. Save over in your script. That way it will compile and it'll be looking for that field that we've serialized. It should take a second, and then we can see guess text. It's looking for a Text Mesh Pro UGUI. Okay, so we have one of those. If we click on our guess text, you can see that that is what we are after. Okay, it's a little bit tricky. Click on gameplay and then drag guess text into that field there. Or of course you could have clicked the selector and found one of our Text Mesh Pro text elements. Now that we've connected it, it now understands in here, oh, I know, guess text, whenever I'm using guess text within this class or within this script, you are actually referring to this particular text field, which is really cool. That allows us now to update what is shown in that text field. So what do we want to show in that text field? Well, we need to, where's the very first time that we're displaying guess? Down here in our start game, we're saying what guess is, and we wish to display this onto the screen at that point. So what we're going to do is use our ToString method. First of all, we need to say guess text. That's our variable just up here. What aspect of guess text are we looking for? Well, we're looking for the text element. And then we are taking our value for guess, and we're using ToString to convert this into a string. Because in our text field, it's looking to display a string, not an integer and not a float and not anything else. It just wants a string. So we need to say, well, whatever you think guess is at the moment, whether it's 500 or 1,000, I want you to convert that into a string. And then this number that we've now made into a string, say it was 1,000 divided by, 1,000 plus 1 divided by 2, 500. We want that to be a string. And then to display within the guess text.text field, display that 500. Let's save that, or whatever number the number might be. We'll click play, and you can see my guess is 501, which is really cool because we're now displaying our guess onto the screen. It's also not so cool because we've made a slight error in our logic, and I believe max equals max plus 1 should be back to where we had it before, which is underneath this initial calculation. Let's see how that goes. Save that back over into Unity, click play, and our first guess is 500, which is exactly in the middle. It doesn't really matter. The player's not going to get upset, but we want to keep it nice and neat. And then the next step, we need to be able to click on a higher and lower and have that call the method that we've created already and to display the new guess onto the screen. And so the challenge I've got for you is to make it work. Okay, that's a nice ambiguous heading there, isn't it? Make it work. Do what it's supposed to do. Okay, so connect your higher and lower buttons. When you click on them, they work as expected. Display the updated guess each time you click the higher and lower buttons. Make sure it's the correct guess. And I'm going to give you a couple of hints. If that's enough for you to go on, then jump in, pause the video, and take that on now. If you'd like the hints, here they are. Hint number 1. Set the onClick function to our recently created public methods. That's in order to get the buttons calling those methods and doing what they should do. And then in terms of the guess, we need to add something, add a line, add a statement to our next guess method. So there are the hints for you. We've got everything we need. Jump in, take that on, and I'll see you back here when you're done. Okay, I'm really excited. We're very close to having functionality all hooked up. You might have yours hooked up already and you've been playing around with it. Very excellent. So on our higher button, when we click that button, we need to, we're currently using scene loader is dropped in here. We want to find, what is it that we need to find? Gameplay. So gameplay as our game object, or we could have dragged gameplay over in here. The function we're looking for, number wizard, and then we have on press higher. And for our lower button, we are doing the same thing. This time I will drag gameplay nice and quick, blink into there. No function, that's not correct. We want number wizard on press lower. Okay, so we've got higher and lower working for our buttons, or connected for our buttons. Let's go and have a look at our logic in here. So on press higher, on press lower. And then when there's a next guess happens whenever we are pressing those buttons. So we're calling next guess here and calling next guess here. What do we need to do? So if it says, hey, do next guess, because we're calling next guess says, rightio, I'll do that. The new value of guess is this, and we want to update what we display on the screen, which is our guess text.text equals guess.ToString. I'm going to copy that, paste it down in here. So we're putting in the same information. We're taking our guess value and we're converting it into a string and then presenting that in our guess text field that we've hooked up. Save, back into the game, moment of truth, click on play, and then starts at 500, click higher, it goes up, 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 down, 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 all the way until it reaches a point where it can't go up or down. Wonderful, click success, takes us next screen, play again, yes, why not, start, and let's choose a number. We'll say it's 620, it's higher than that, lower, lower still, higher than that, higher, oh, higher than 617, 620, one lower, 619. Oh my god, there we go. 620. Okay, so it works. Our full game flow works. Our higher and lower button works. Really, very excellent. We've still got a little bit of just tidying up to do and a couple of extra nifty things that we'll put in, but this is our logic. This is displaying text from our code onto our screen, onto our UI. This is something we'll do a lot with, say, score or lives or health or any sort of user interface, this mechanism we've set up here when we're displaying text on the screen. So great stuff, and I'll see you in the next lecture.